A story about trust. He hesitated for a long time before deciding to tell this story. Not because he felt ashamed, but because the truth was too strange, too absurd to be easily believed. Sometimes the truth comes out not because someone is searching for it, but because a lie becomes too heavy to keep carrying. This story had two parts. The first was painful, but ordinary. The second was devastating. He was living in Spain, teaching English. It was supposed to be temporary. A year, maybe two, like it is for most foreigners. That's where he met his future wife, a Spanish woman. Their relationship seemed stable. They argued sometimes, made up, planned a future together. He believed there was love between them, or at least honesty. After several years of marriage, they decided to move to the United Kingdom. He was burned out on teaching and wanted a career change. She worked as a nurse and hoped to continue her career in the UK. Her English was decent, but she wanted to be fluent, so she enrolled in a language academy in Spain and began spending long hours there. That's when he noticed the changes. She used to have a photo of them together as her WhatsApp profile picture. She had even insisted that he do the same. One day, he noticed the photo was gone. When he asked about it, she brushed it off. When he suggested putting it back, she flatly refused and accused him of making a big deal out of nothing. Gradually, her behavior toward him became colder, sometimes openly degrading. She picked fights, spoke harshly, as if pushing him away on purpose. He felt something was wrong, but even then, he didn't suspect cheating. She told him she loved him, and he chose to believe her. Sometimes she wouldn't come home for the night. Each time, she had a reasonable explanation. The night everything cracked, she told him she was staying at her sister's place because she needed to drive her sister and brother-in-law to the airport early in the morning. That night, alone in the apartment, he felt an unfamiliar emptiness and messaged her on WhatsApp. The messages went unread. Later, he realized she had blocked him. He called, no answer. He saw that her sister was online and called her directly. Her sister was genuinely surprised. She hadn't seen his wife and had no idea where she was. Not long after, his wife called him back. He demanded that she come home immediately, or their marriage was over. When she arrived, she had him sit in her car and began telling a story. She claimed she had been at a club with single friends, helping them meet guys, insisting she wasn't looking for anyone herself. He asked for her phone and took it before she could respond. The first conversation told him everything. The messages were from a teacher at the language academy. The tone, the words, it was obvious. He managed to take only a few photos before she snatched the phone back, crying and begging him to stop. It was enough. That night, she had been with him. They were supposed to move to the UK in a month. The paperwork was already approved. His world collapsed instantly. He had almost no friends left in Spain. There was nowhere to go. She begged him to forgive her, swore it was a mistake that would never happen again. At first, he refused. Then he broke. He chose trust. Life in the UK was hard at first. He couldn't find work outside teaching and survived on deliveries and side gigs. Eventually, they moved in with his parents. Over time, he landed a solid job, and later she did too. They moved into their own apartment again. From the outside, things looked fine. On the inside, they weren't. The arguments continued. Sometimes she lashed out over trivial things, said humiliating things, then apologized. In the fall of 2024, they decided to divorce. Neither of them could afford to move out, so they continued living together. More like friends. Sometimes more than friends. He still loved her. Almost every year, she traveled back to Spain to visit family and friends. In late 2024, while she was there, she called him in tears. She said the wife of the man she had cheated with years earlier had contacted her, threatening a civil lawsuit for emotional damages. She was scared. She needed money for a lawyer. She asked for his help. The timing bothered him. Why now? Why exactly when she was back in Spain? She claimed the man's wife had discovered old messages. He doubted it, but once again, he believed her. He signed documents, allowing a lawsuit to be filed in his name. A few months later, the man being sued found his email address and contacted him, and everything finally collapsed. The man explained that it was his wife who had reached out first after arriving in Spain. She insisted on meeting. She wanted sex. He refused. He told her directly that he had no feelings for her and wanted no further contact. That's when she snapped. She was the one who contacted his wife and confessed everything. He provided proof, screenshots of the messages. From her confession, it became clear that the relationship had never truly ended. They had stayed in touch for years: Instagram, Snapchat, Google Docs. They met again in 2023. She booked hotels. She was deeply emotionally attached. She even received online intimacy coaching from him until the summer of 2024. All that time, she had told her husband there had been no contact since 2020. When he showed her the evidence, she finally admitted it. He often thinks about how strangely everything unfolded. If not for her moment of rage, if not for the lawsuit, if not for an email from a man he never wanted to know, he might never have learned the truth. He doesn't believe he was a perfect husband. The language barrier made intimacy difficult. Maybe that man gave her attention he couldn't. But trust is a choice, and so is lying. Sometimes the truth doesn't come out because someone is looking for it. It comes out because someone can no longer live with what they've done.